Hi, ladies. I hope everybody is doing super well today. I am so excited to be here. It has been an exciting week for me. We've been doing lots of projects um, around the farm, and I have to send a quick email that I couldn't do while I had the thing going. So one of our speakers can get on. Um, but as soon as I finish that, I'm going to do a giveaway for our VIP attendees from last month. So, okay. All right. So I got that done. And here we go. So, I'm really excited about spring. I don't know about you guys, but um, I there's been so many different things going on here at the homestead for us. Um, and I hope you guys have the same thing going on because it's just so exciting. I built my first brooder box. I got two new pairs of boots. I mean, all kinds of things going on. All right, but I know you guys don't care about that. All right, so we're doing the chicken, the giveaway for the metal chicken. He has a little hanger so you can hang him on the wall. I think he is super cute. So this is for all VIP members that attended last month's gathering. So I apologize we can't do it the same night, but there's a lot of there's not a simple way to do it as far as making sure we have the list correct. So this is just the best way we figured out how to do it. Again, Mr. I guess he's a rooster, not a chicken. Sorry, rooster. But I'm going to go ahead and do that. So let's share the screen. And we will do a spinning of the wheel of names. This is so much fun. I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I do. How do I make it go full screen? Oh, I've already got a question. That's good. That's good. That's good. So let's see if we can get the wheel of names to where you guys can not have to look at all this other stuff. All right. So here we go. Wheel of names. This is for the rooster. And our winner is Michelle DeHost. I'm sorry if I'm slaughtering your last name. Michelle, I will be in contact with you to get a shipping address for you so I can send this guy to you. And that's awesome. So just write Michelle. Down there. Sorry about that. Don't want to forget who it was because heaven knows I don't know about y'all, but my brain just is not what it used to be anymore. So that's awesome. Okay, we are 1 minute early. Super excited about that. And yes, okay. So since we're 1 minute early, tell me in the chat where you're from real quick. Oh, Michelle, I'm so glad you're on. I just saw that you commented in the chat. That's so much fun that you were here to see it. Hi, Ohio, Washington, Pennsylvania, Denver, Colorado, North Idaho, Ohio. Oh, wow, they're coming in Houston, Denver, Georgia, Iowa, Texas, Virginia. This is awesome. Lexington, go South Carolina, go Tigers. Kansas, Pennsylvania, Georgia. Oh, wow. Indiana, Tennessee, from all over the place. But it is now 8 o'clock. Keep them coming. I want to see where everybody is from. This is so exciting. I love seeing where people are from. Oklahoma's here. Good, good, good. So we are so excited to have everybody here tonight. You know, this is, I was talking with Jesse Reed earlier. We were working on the breakout rooms. We did a test run tonight. So hopefully everything's going to go good with that. We'll talk about more about that in just a second. But we did a test run tonight, and I was talking with her, and she said, you know what, third time's a charm. So hopefully this is our third national gathering. Hopefully everything's going to go just so smoothly that we won't even know what to think. But it's so exciting to be here. I just have so much fun on these gatherings. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so glad that all you ladies are here. This is our March National Virtual Gathering. Tonight we have Esther Arkfeld with us. She is going to be talking to us about salve making. That's our main topic tonight. And we're excited about that. Tonight's gathering is sponsored by Chelsea Green Publishing, and you'll find out a little bit more about that later. That's exciting. And so the breakout rooms, for those of you who were on last month, you know kind of the debacle that we had with that, but we've gotten it figured out tonight. So at the end of the gathering, at the end of this the National Virtual Gathering, in the chat, so make sure you find where the chat is. I am going to drop a link, and I'll tell you when it's there, so you don't have to like worry you're going to miss it. I'm going to drop a link to an actual Zoom meeting like you're used to being on, where you can see everybody else. When we're done, you go over there, and we actually are going to have some breakout rooms set up. So you'll go over there, and Jesse Reed will be there. So you say hi to Jesse, and if you need some help figuring it out, she's going to be there to help you. But basically, you're going to choose the breakout room that's either in your state or the one that's closest to your state. Now, currently, we only have breakout rooms set up for states that have chapters in them. So if you don't have a chapter in your state, let us know if you would like to start one. There's a survey that you'll get after the gathering, and one of the questions on there allows you to put your contact information. Now, those are anonymous, so don't just say, hey, I want to start a gathering, because we'll be like, that's nice, but I don't know who you are. So make sure you say, I want to start a gathering. This is my name, and this is either my phone number or my email. And the lovely and vivacious Miranda Johnson, who you'll get to see later tonight, will get in contact with you and kind of just talk with you about what that looks like. Now, don't be afraid. Miranda's awesome. She's not gonna like force you to do anything, but she is the person that's gonna help you with that. So if you're interested and there's not one in your state, be sure to answer in that survey and leave your contact information, and then she'll get in touch with you, tell you what the next steps are, kind of explain the process, what the commitment level is, that kind of thing. About that. So that's first of all. Second of all, don't feel like if there's not a chapter in your state that you can't go. Please go and choose the area. So there's the breakout rooms have a couple of states in them. Most of them have more than one state in them. So choose the one that's closest to you, and then you can see you can find out where the chapters are closest to you. So that's breakout rooms. Super excited about that. Another announcement we would like to make, we are just getting up and going with this media team. And you guys know that we are a nonprofit, and we are all volunteer, and we have actually started an Amazon wish list for the media team. And because there's a few things that we need, and if you guys would like to help us out by maybe purchasing one of those items, Jesse's going to drop a link in the chat, and there it is with the media wish list. You can go there and see if maybe that's something you would like to do, and it'll ship right to us. You don't even have to worry about that. So that is that. And I think that's enough of me for now. I'm 2 minutes over my allotted time. So Cindy, you better come on and start talking, or you know me, I'll just keep going all night long because I can talk forever.
And that's why you're the hostess of the gathering. So hello, everybody it got into the 40s today here in the mountains of Montana. So it's been a good day. Unfortunately, all that spring, like, watching people digging in the dirt, I would love to, but there's still about 3 feet of snow on the ground. So I'll have to wait. One of the things that we wanted to start doing again, and if you're in a chapter, this should be going on. So we wanted to make sure that we continue that here, is every time you get together, stating the purpose statement. Why do we exist as an organization? And that is to empower women through homesteading. It took us a long time to get to that, but it does encapsulate what we're doing. And we do that through our mission statement, which is to share knowledge, build community, and grow friendships. And if you will memorize just those 2 lines, our purpose statement and our mission statement, really you can explain to somebody what the National Ladies Homestead Gathering is all about. We're here to empower women through homesteading. How do we do that? We share knowledge, and by sharing that knowledge, we're building a community, and in that community, we build friendships, grow friendships with other women who are like-minded with us. And see, it's that simple. So don't forget, empowering women through homesteading, share knowledge, build community, and grow friendship. There you go. And Ginger.
Okay, I'm back. So we were going to have someone else on, but they were not able to make it. So we're going to skip over that. I'm looking at my agenda to make sure. We're going to go straight to the book report. And that throws it right back to Cindy. I know it's live TV, folks. Just bear with us. But no, so Chelsea Green Publishing, like I said, is sponsoring this gathering. They are one of our sponsors, and they do actually offer us a discount for our VIP members. And I'm going to let Cindy tell you a little bit more about that. And she's going to tell you about the special book that she is holding and what's happening with it. So yes, tell us, Cindy.
Okay. So one of the things we're trying to start doing is bringing books to you that we feel are one that would be great in your library, your homesteading library. And this particular book, oh, see, Trina's on here already. I love that book. This one is called The Wild Wisdom of Weeds. And I don't know if you can see that, but anyways, it is a fabulous book. A couple years ago, I went to Nicaragua to teach on sustainability. And this is one of the books that I had. It's 13 survival plants that are pretty much found all over the world. And so I can guarantee you, if you get this book, there's going to be probably 2/3, 3/4 of them that grow in your area. Jill has it too. And anyways, I used this book when I went down to Nicaragua because they had a lot of the plants that were in here and that we have here in the US. So it's 13 survival plants that she talks about. She tells you the history, the uses of them, how to use them in basic recipes. So like how to cook with them, the medicinal uses for them, and even how to make certain medicinal products with it, like a salve or a drink or a lotion or something like that. But it is a wealth of information. I'm starting to teach educational classes here at the ranch. And the first one that I'm doing this summer is on dandelions. And just her chapter alone in here, I can build my whole classroom PowerPoint off of. So anyways, we are also, I contacted Chelsea Green because we have a partnership with them. And this is going to be the giveaway tonight for one of our VIP members. If you would like to purchase this book and you are a VIP member, Chelsea Green is giving us a 35% discount on any of their books. And this is one of their books. So anyways, it's a great book to have in your library. And like I said, a ton of information in it. So Back to you, Ginger.
Okay, so one more housekeeping thing before we move on. My Shelby, Iowa ladies, I need your help. Kristen Nelson won our January VIP giveaway, and I've not been able to get in touch with her for a mailing address. So, oh, Krista, okay. Krista says I'm here. Email me, Krista, at media@nlhg.org and send me your shipping address so I can get that in the mail to you, because I still have it and I'm holding on to it. That's awesome. I'm glad you're here. Yay. Because I want to get that to you. And yeah, Jesse just put the email address. I'd love Jesse. Yeah, Jesse, throw that. Well, I don't know if Jesse has it. Cindy, will you put the title of the book in the chat? The ladies are asking for that since we didn't get that to Jesse ahead of time. If you can drop that in the chat, that would be awesome for those ladies. There it is, The Wild Wisdom of Weeds. And I think it's just so much fun. It's nice to have physical references, you know, that you can hold. We have the internet at our fingertips and we have so much information that we can access, but it just is so nice to be able to have those books. And Cheryl is asking about the discounted rate. So Cheryl, if you are a VIP member, you can log into your account on the NLHG website, and it's there under the member discounts. Cindy, do you want to talk about how to do that real quick? And so that everybody can figure that out?
Yeah, so if you, and Amanda may need to get on, she's my really, really techie person, but somebody asked, what does it mean to become a VIP member? So everyone who attends these gatherings or even your local gatherings, you're a member, the ones who come on a regular basis, and we so appreciate you because you make up a large part of our community. But then there's another level, and these are our VIP members, and they're women who really believe in the mission statement of what we're trying to do and being a major part of this community. And so there's a $35 a year membership fee. And with that membership fee comes discounts, and there's some other perks, but tonight we're just focusing on the discounts. So I have been busy talking to other vendors and companies trying to get more discounts for us, and they're there. We're not going to announce anything tonight, but they're coming. So if you want to become a VIP member, go to our website, and there's a button on the main page that says become a member, and you guys can click on that. If you want to know if you are already a VIP member, then it's a little bit more detailed, but you would go to your profile on the website with your login. So Amanda, if I'm not saying anything right, if you want to put something up in the chat, go ahead and do that. But yeah, it is definitely worth it to become a VIP member for many reasons, but just for the discounts that we're going to be able to give you. And like tonight, it's a 35% one with Chelsea Green on any of their books that they have.
And that's a code, right, Cindy, that they find?
Yes. Yep. And
so,
it's in the discounts for VIP members.
Yep. So once you log in, you'll go to the benefits, I think it is, and then it'll be listed under Chelsea Green. It'll have that code there for the VIP members. And Jesse, if you're not a VIP member, Jesse dropped in the chat how to join us. And we would love for you to join us as a VIP member. We are working very hard to make sure that we increase the number of benefits. I mean, that's one thing that we really have been focused on, not just having separate giveaways here on the National Virtual Gathering, but also Cindy has been working very diligently to try and acquire these different discounts, and she is continuing that, and we are continuing as an executive staff to try and increase the benefits not that the benefits aren't already there, but to increase from where we are and just continue um, to
Add value to your membership.
thank you. I didn't have it on my agenda.
I know.
So,
Sorry.
all right. Well, that's great. Okay. So we are a little bit ahead of time. Esther, are you okay being a little early? I hope so. If not, I can just talk. But let me introduce Esther. There she is. She must be okay. She just showed up. So Esther is a phenomenal person. I'm so lucky to have met her through LHG. That was actually how she and I met. She doesn't live anywhere near me, and our paths would have never crossed, I don't believe, were it not for the Ladies Homestead Gathering. But she is a wife and a mother. She is also a beekeeper and a homesteader, and she is an herbalist. And that is one of the reasons that we have her here tonight is because of her herbal wisdom. She grew up in Europe with a very naturally minded family, and she can go into more of her background if she wants, but she is a certified master herbalist, and I know she does love talking about that. They do have Dexter cows on their homestead that they raise. They have jerseys, um, and they have heritage chickens. They do bees. If you follow her on Facebook, or she's not doing much on Facebook anymore, but she posted a picture on Facebook last year of one side of her face. She had gotten stung, I think, right near her eye, and she just looked like one side of her face looked like the blob from, a movie. It was kind of wicked, but so she's just an all around awesome person. And I count myself lucky to know her and to be able to interact with her and to have her as a resource for my herbal questions. And I know she is excited to be here because she does love to share knowledge. So Esther, take it away. Give us all your knowledge in the next 30 minutes. Tell us everything you know.
Oh my gosh, I don't think I need 30 minutes, but no, I'm excited to be here and I'm excited to talk with all of you guys. Thanks, Ginger, for that intro. Yes, I had a pretty swollen face from a bee that just decided to come after me, even though I was many feet away. She must not have liked it that I opened the hive that day. And my face swole up, half my face. I looked pretty interesting. So but yeah, so we live in Iowa, my family and I. I actually got to know of LHG about 7 years ago. We at the time still lived in Georgia, and we thought it'd be a good idea to do a beekeeping class. And my husband heard of this lady who did beekeeping classes. So I thought, well, I would just go, once a month to her classes, and ended up being that Cindy was teaching those classes. And so for many people, chickens is their gateway drug into homesteading. For me, it was beekeeping. So then 3.5 years ago, time goes so fast, we moved to Iowa. That's where my husband is from. And so now we went from suburbia, North Atlanta to super rural Iowa. I live an hour away from the nearest Home Depot, Target, all that good stuff. But it's kind of nice because now we actually get to do the things that we want to do. So yeah, we have our homestead. I homeschool our 3 kids. I'm a beekeeper, herbalist. We raise Dexters as part of the conservancy efforts to keep the traditional bloodlines going, and we raise them for the heifers for that, and then our steer or our bull calves steers we raise for grass-fed, grass-finished beef. We also raise chickens for eggs. We raise chickens for meat. Of course, we have honey from our bees, and we have a garden and a orchard and all that good stuff. We also have a couple of dairy cows. That's probably something I started getting into 3 years ago. I figured, well, if I have a Dexter, you can milk those. And that's true. And some of them are great to milk. But I realized that I needed more milk. And so that's when jerseys entered the picture. And they are like potato chips. They're just so lovable and sweet and just wonderful to have. And so I'm dabbling a little bit in the dairy cows, cheese making, things like that. And I will tell you, if you had asked me 7 years ago if I would be living out in rural America, raising cattle, butchering chickens, I would probably look at you like you had three eyes in your forehead. And I'll tell you that the majority of these things that we're doing, I've learned through Ladies Homestead Gathering. It's given me the desire and the kind of the want to do it, but it's also given me the encouragement to do it when I thought that there was no way in heck I could do it. And so lots of kudos to ladies in our group that have helped me along the way to be at the place we are now. So let's see.
Esther, I'm going to stop you real fast.
Yes.
I forgot to say, and I want to make sure that I say this so that we make sure we get everybody's questions answered. If you have a question, please use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen, not the chat. It'll be a lot easier for us to keep those questions separate, or to make sure we address those questions. And I'm sorry, I forgot to say that, but I wanted to stop you before you got into it. And we were trying to track questions as chat was flying. So if you have questions, drop them in the Q&A, and Esther is going to make sure that she addresses those before we end the gathering. So just put them in there and we'll get to them. But just wanted to make sure we did that.
Yeah, so let's see. I've always kind of grown up in a natural leaning family. We always try to do things more holistically. And then over the years, I would do things more naturally for myself, being an adult, and started realizing that maybe there's a reason for that. Tend to be healthier, tend to not have all the side effects from the different pharmaceutical drugs out there. Personally, I had some experiences with that, just bad side effects, and then realizing that if I hadn't screwed up my system with it, I wouldn't have had to go and fix it. And that's just kind of the short story of it. So over time, I became very interested in herbalism, and so I met. Some of you may know Anne Marie from Georgia. She is an amazing herbalist down there and does awesome things with herbs and incorporating that into food and how you eat with wild weeds out there. And she has an awesome book out there too. But she had the opportunity for me to come and intern with her. So I got to intern with her for 2 seasons, and that was really my submersion into herbalism. And she allowed me to come out, and we went from all the way from growing the plant, taking care of the plant, to how do you process it, whether it's drying or tincture making or salve making or whatever it may be. So that was super awesome. I really enjoyed those classes. Then after that, I went to the herb school. It's a small school, but I enjoyed their method of teaching. They follow the Dr. Christopher method. If any of you guys are aware of him, he's a very well renowned herbalist, and I think his son still takes care of their school. At the time, I was just not able to go there specifically. So that's really why or what I've done as far as being immersed into the kind of the herbal knowledge and know-how. There's 2 schools of thoughts within herbalism. You either go along the folk method side, or you go along the very scientific numbers down to the T side. For me personally, I sway more towards the folk method side because I think there's a lot to be said of doing something, feeling what you're doing, and I know that sounds kind of hokey, but feeling what you're doing with that plant and just kind of winging it and going with it. And what I mean by that is when we start looking at measurements for salves, I'll go into a little bit of how I come up with numbers and weight and things like that for your products. Let's see. Trying to keep up with my notes here. So herbs, I think, are so important for the family homestead. For me, especially when I had my children, it was very important to give them a more natural approach to healthcare. And so up to this point, we've not had to use any conventional medicines. I've been able to just go to my shelf, reach for a book, or reach for a particular remedy, and I've been able to really help my family stay healthy. And I think that's just really important. So if that's something you're interested in, there's so many resources. And I'll try to mention some of those as we go through this chat here. But to get to the topic of tonight, the salve making, I thought we would talk about making a salve that is kind of a general salve and would be good to have around your household. We're going to talk about a plantain infused salve. I have a book here I'll share with you guys. It's by Rosemary Gladstar. It's kind of a beginner's guide, but also just really good. It has a lot of different herbs in there, and she explains, just like the books Cindy mentioned, she explains kind of the history of it, the properties of it, and how to use it. So I'm going to talk to you guys about plantain. And this, I picked this because I think most of you, no matter where you are in the United States, you have this growing in your backyard. And once I show it to you, if you don't know what it is, from here on out, you'll see it everywhere. So here is what plantain looks like. This is called a broadleaf plantain. So it's not plantain like bananas. It's plantain, the weed. So this is broadleaf. You can see the leaves in there are more round shaped. And if you don't have that, you will likely have this one. So this is a narrow leaf plantain. And when it flowers, that's what it looks like. Okay, so the reason why I picked this one is because you can find it everywhere. And two, it is amazing for so many things. Plantain is edible. You can eat the leaves as well as the flower pods. It's something that you can dry and make a powder out of. You can pick it and put it in a smoothie after you wash it, of course. It's just something that that is full of. It's nutrient rich. It's full of vitamins. It's just a really nice option to have. I personally don't enjoy eating it like spinach, just because the leaves can be a little bit stringy. But if you put it into like a smoothie or something, it's great. Let's see. Plantain is also one of the biggest things that it's known for is to draw out toxins out of your body. And so think about bee stings, mosquito bites, spider bites, any kind of rashes, anything that you're getting a reaction on your skin. If you were to put this salve on there, it can really help to draw out those toxins and give some relief to those areas. It's also historically known as a remedy as a blood purifier. So if you have any kind of toxins or dealing with liver issues especially, you can use this as a detoxer. I already mentioned the skin issues. It's fantastic for that. My kids love to come in. They know in the summer, when they're outside, if they've got some kind of rash or got stung by something, mosquitoes or anything like that, they know to put this on there. Actually, plantain is something that my kids knew very early on because we had bees. If you got stung by a bee, if you were to take a leaf of the plantain plant, chew it, and put it on that bee sting and hold it there for a bit, it will help to relieve any of the side effects of that sting. It'll take the stinging sensation away. It will reduce the swelling. It's just a really awesome plant to have around. So my kids know, because we have bees, that if something like that ever happens, you grab the plantain leaves. Let's see, it makes a great poultice. So it's kind of like what I talked about, but in a bigger sense. Instead of chewing on the one leaf and putting it on your skin, you can take the leaves, throw it in a blender or muddle it and put it on an area that you're having difficulty with. I've had people put it on spider bites that they were concerned about, and change that out every 2 to 3 hours, and it really drew out the toxins. So it's just a really good one to have on hand. Let's see. So the salve that we're making, let's see. So if you're going to go out and actually, before I go into that, I'm going to give you the quick recipe, and Ginger is going to put that out there as well, but because I'm sure you guys are going to be asking. So for the salve, I usually use about a 2-ounce herbal salve, or herbal oil, sorry. And then we're going to use beeswax, and you can leave it at that. Or if you want to get extra fancy, you can add some essential oils that have the properties that are matching with that herb. So if I plan to make a salve, I usually make an herbal salve. And the reason why you want to make an herbal salve is in the different oils, they're really good at drawing out the medicinal properties of the plant, if that makes sense. So I have a pint-sized mason jar here. So I might put in about half. Remember, we talked about the folk method. Here, this comes in a little bit. So I would fill this up about halfway with plantain. I would usually cut that so that it has more surface area to draw the properties from. So you cut that up and you put it in there. And then you're going to cover that with an oil. If you want to use olive oil, that's fine. If you want to use coconut oil because you like the properties of coconut oil, that's fine. Hold on. Sorry, guys, my cat is scratching at the door. So you can use olive oil, coconut oil. You could use an apricot kernel oil. All of those oils are nice. Olive oil is just a general one. It doesn't have a lot of scent. If you're allergic to nuts, you might not want to use something like coconut oil or apricot kernel oil. You might want to use just a straight olive oil. So you're going to cover your plant material with that olive oil in here. And you want to make sure that your plant matter is covered. I hope that makes sense. So you have your plant matter and then you add your oil. So as long as that is covering your plant matter, then you're good to go. Then you would set this on the counter somewhere out of the sunlight, in the sunlight for 4 to 6 weeks. And that's kind of the a solar concoction. So the sunlight's going to help to draw those properties out. If you don't have time to sit around for 4 to 6 weeks, you can totally take this and put it in a crock pot. Take a wash rag and sit this on it, because you don't want this to sit directly on the crock pot, because it will burn the plant matter. So you set this on a washcloth, and then you put water up to about there. And you let that sit for 4 to 6 hours, just making sure it doesn't get too hot and it's not frying and like bubbling the plant matter in there. And so after about 4 to 6 hours, you'll have the same result as you would if you let this sit for 4 to 6 weeks. Hopefully that makes sense. So then you have your infused herbal oil. Then you can strain that. So you take the plant matter out now, and then what's left is your infused herb oil. So what we're going to do then is I have, can you guys see this? It's, I use like a little glass measuring cup. I've put in here just for tonight, I've put in here 2 ounces of infused oil. And when you want to warm this up because you want to melt your beeswax. And so do not use a microwave because you will kill all the good properties you just infused into your oils. You will want to use kind of a double boiler method. You'll want to put water in a pan. You want to set this in there, and you'll gently want to warm this up. And then you're also going to add your beeswax. So in a way to make your salve hard is to use the beeswax. That's the purpose of it. It's also, it has good properties for your skin. It's a good hardener. It's better than, let's say, using just coconut oil, because when it's really hot in the summer, coconut oil is going to melt, whereas beeswax will not. So you can use just blocks of beeswax and grate it, or kind of shave pieces off until you have your desired amount, or you can use these beeswax pellets. I don't know if you guys can see that, like that. I find these to be pretty easy to use as far as measuring. So for this particular recipe, we're going to use about a tablespoon of beeswax pellets to 2 ounces of oil. So what that ratio comes to is a 4-to-1 ratio. So a 4-to-1 ratio will give you a hard enough salve to stay solid, but soft enough where you can, you can take some out and rub it on your skin. If you live in a really cold area, you might want to reduce that to a 3-to-1 ratio. You just want to play around with it a little bit, but that's your basic ratio for a salve to get the hardness that you want. So once you add your beeswax to your herb infused oil, you're going to put it in your pan and let it all heat up and melt together. I usually use like a chopstick to stir it. And then once it's all melted, if you want to add an essential oil, I would suggest using the essential oil for their benefits. I wouldn't use it so much for the scenting. Essential oils have wonderful properties, and I think in this particular salve, either a lavender or a frankincense could be very nice with it. Of course, lavender is soothing, so if you're using this on bee stings or mosquito bites or anything like that, lavender is going to be really nice. So generally, what I would say, use about 12 to 24 drops. That gives you about a 1 to 2% ratio of essential oils in this particular recipe. Let's see. So once that's all melted together, you can pour it into whatever container you want. You can use a little glass 4-ounce mason jar. You can use a leftover little jar of what you have. I've got a little tin here, 2-ounce tin that screws together and makes it easy to carry around. So you can use just about anything. You could even make a chapstick out of this if you wanted to. If you tend to get dry lips from either cold weather or from getting sunburnt or something, it's a great one to use for that as well. And then you'll just want to let it sit. You'll be tempted to touch it and to look at it because it's just interesting, but just let it sit for a while. I don't usually recommend putting it in the fridge because that can sometimes cause some cracking on the top. But just let it cool. After about an hour or two, it will be solidified, and then you can just take it and go. So I think that is pretty much all there is to making a salve. It's just really deciding on if you want it to be an herb infused oil, what kind of herb you want to use. Again, if you want to use different oils for it because they have really awesome properties, you can change that up. It's really all depends on your preference and what you're wanting to do. Let's see. Ginger, how am I doing on time?
You are doing good. We've got some questions, but you've got about 5 minutes before we really need to move to the Q&A. So
Okay.
if you've got some other stuff you want to talk about, you could do that, or we can go right to the Q&A. It's up to you.
Yeah, maybe we'll go to Q&A because I'm thinking that's probably going to give some good talking points.
Okay. So the first question, and I knew you were going to get this question as soon as you held up that 10, is where do you order your tins?
You know, there's so many different places you can order these from nowadays. Amazon, if you punch in a 2-ounce tin, 1-ounce tin, 4-ounce container, you'll come up with 100 different options. So I would say if you're just getting started, that is a great place to find them. They're very reasonably listed. If you're wanting to do more of a bulk order, I'm trying to think where I bought these last time because I usually buy so many and then I don't have to buy for quite a while.
I know I bought some of those from a website, and I think it's Specialty Bottle. But if you just Google buy 2-ounce tins, you'll get all those.
Right.
And somebody in the comments said bulk apothecary as well.
Yep, they have them too. Yep, I think both of those sound very familiar.
Okay. People are asking about the shelf life and how long you think it would stay good.
Okay, so any salve is going to stay good about a year. You might be able to get 18 months out of it, but after about a year, it's not that it necessarily goes bad, but it will start to lose its effectiveness, if that makes sense. It also depends on where you're storing this. If you store this in your purse and that's in a hot car, you know, the majority of the time, it's going to be a shorter lifespan than if you keep this at home. For me, sometimes I will keep one in my purse because we're on the go, and then I'll keep one in my refrigerator here at home because in the refrigerator, it makes it extend the shelf life. So it really depends. It also depends on how volatile your oil is. So some oils go rancid much sooner compared to others. So that's something you'll want to consider as you're making salves, especially if you're making a large batch of it.
And people are asking about fresh versus dried. Can you do both, or does it need to be fresh, or can it be dried?
You can do both. You can totally do both. Some people prefer to dry theirs a little bit before they make a salve, because you don't want, you know, because plants have water in it. So anytime you mix water and oil, you're going to have some issues. So if you have a plant that you want to use, an herb you want to use that is has a higher water content, you'll want to let that dry a little bit before you use that. But you can use them either way. And that's a great way to store it, especially if you're wanting to use that during the winter months.
Okay, and with plantain, when do you know how to harvest it? Is it always ready? Does it vary based on what you want to use it for? Or can you talk a little bit about the harvesting?
Yeah, so once it starts growing, you can pick it whenever it's convenient to you or whenever you need it most. I prefer to pick mine earlier in the season compared to like September, October, because at that point things start to go dormant here in Iowa. So I prefer to pick earlier in the season. It's actually pretty easy to harvest it, but when you pick it, you know, you can just use your hand. It's not very hard where you need scissors. It does sometimes have some stringy parts that come out from the veining of the leaves, but that's normal. Another way to preserve it is if you took some of that and put it in your blender and then froze it in like ice cube trays. So that's another way that you can dry it, you can use it fresh, or you can freeze it.
Would you freeze that in water or oil?
You can do either.
Okay.
It just really depends on what you want to use it as a final product for, if that makes sense. If you put it in oil because you want to make a salve with it, you could totally do that. If you wanted to put it in water so that you can use it as a, like for my kids, sometimes having ice on a bee sting or something, or on a mosquito bite is soothing. So you could use it that way as well. And with it being infused in the water, you're going to get those good properties.
And somebody is asking if you know the weight of a tablespoon of beeswax. They have bars of wax and not pellets.
That's a good question. I do not off the top of my head. I generally don't go by weight. I generally will just, if I use the pellets, I just scoop it with a tablespoon measuring spoon. And if I use the grated beeswax bar, I do the same thing. I just put it in my measuring spoon and just level it off.
Okay, so you would grate it and then scoop it. And Trina also said in the comments a half an ounce. So you could probably do either way. So if you wanted to grate a little bit off your bar, then you could do that and measure by the tablespoon.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else have we got here? Somebody was asking about the doctor's name that you mentioned.
Dr. Christopher. So he is a very well-known herbalist out of North Carolina, I believe. That's where their school is. I don't believe he's alive anymore. I think his son has taken over his school, but they just have super information. They have some great books out there. I really enjoy his method, and his remedies have been very beneficial.
All right, and would you make a comfrey salve the same way?
Yes, you can make a comfrey salve the same way. You can also make a calendula salve the same way. You just want to make sure that your oil covers the plant matter.
Okay. And what about adding aloe to a salve? Does that change your ratios?
Aloe is good to add to a salve. No, I'm sorry. It's maybe not good to add to a salve if it's fresh, because the whole water and oil thing. If you did it, you'd probably, to get it to really come together, you'd have to probably use a stick blender to make that come together, because the water content in oil in aloe is so high. If you found an aloe powder, you could potentially infuse that in the oil, because it's a dry matter at that point. So if you wanted to use an aloe for a salve, then instead of making a salve, I would suggest making a lotion.
Okay. Excuse me. And they're asking, is that Christopher with a K or with a CH?
CH.
All right. And so someone's asking, did you say away from sunlight or in the sunlight?
You can do it both ways. I generally will just set it on my counter here in my pantry. Some people like to sit it outside so that the warmth of the sun warms it up. It really just depends on your preference. Some people really like that solar infused oil, and some people prefer to just keep it on their counter because it's more convenient for them to look at.
Okay. Okay. If you're adding butter or harder oils like shea butter and coconut oil, how would you change your ratio to make it harden correctly?
That's a good question. I trying to think what my ratio would be with that. Of course, shea butter and cocoa butter get very hard. So you might not even need to add the beeswax unless you wanted to have that as just a way to ensure that it's super hard. I think it just depends on how much of another oil, like a more liquid oil, are you using. If you're just using shea and cocoa butter, you're probably going to be fine just using that and not adding the beeswax. But if you're going to add like olive oil, shea butter, and let's say avocado oil, since you have the two liquid oils and the one semi-hard oil, then I would definitely still add that 1 tablespoon of beeswax for that particular recipe.
And if your salve is too hard or too loose, I guess, I don't know what the right word would be to describe that. It's not bad, it's just a consistency thing. Is that correct?
That's correct. Once you've poured it into your container, if you feel that it's too soft, you can totally scrape that out, put it back into your measuring cup, melt it down again, and then add some more beeswax, or you can add some more cocoa butter if that's what you were using. But generally, I feel like beeswax is a good consistent hardness. So I would just add a little bit more. Start with like a teaspoon, adding a teaspoon instead of adding a whole nother tablespoon.
And for like the cubes that you were talking about freezing, if you were to do that in an oil, how long would they be good in the freezer? How long would you use them?
I would say 12 months to 18 months for sure, because in the freezer, things generally stay good in there much longer when it's frozen. But once you pull it out of the freezer, I would use it within 3 months.
Okay, and with using fresh herbs, okay, first of all, using dried herbs in the salves, does that change the ratios any?
It does, if it's dry, because when something dries, all that moisture goes out. So we talked about adding half if we're using fresh. So I would use about a third if I was using dry. So half for fresh and then a third for dry.
And if you're using the fresh herbs, do you need to be worried about mold at all, or is that generally not a problem?
Well, yeah, that can totally happen. That's why I would recommend, if you're going to wash your herbs, to make sure that they are totally dry from the washing before you add it to your oils. Also, make sure that the oil covers the plant matter. And then I always recommend to not put a lid on it. That way, any of the moisture that does come out can evaporate out. That makes sense. If you wanted to use the long-term method where it sits for 4 to 6 weeks, you could take some cheesecloth, or you could take a coffee filter and then just put the band around it, and that will just protect anything from going in, but it will allow the moisture going out.
And this is good on any kind of a bite, an ant bite, a mosquito bite, a bee sting, any bite you would use this on, right?
Yes, you could use this on just about anything. Of course, I'm going to tell you that before you use it, make sure you do a test patch, or that you're using an oil that that you've used in the past to ensure that you don't have an allergic reaction. But in general, plantain is a very very all-purpose type of herb, and very good on any kind of bites, stings, rashes, just about anything. My kids have put it on all kinds of things, and it's just very beneficial because, again, it pulls out those toxins. Also, I don't think I've mentioned this, but you might want to know this since we're all homesteaders. Another way that we use it is for splinters. So if you have a splinter, it's good to put some of the fresh plant matter on it and just put a Band-Aid around it and let it sit there for a bit. And after an hour or two, you can very easily just pop out that splinter without having to, to be in a lot of pain.
All right, and I'm going to go just a couple more because we do need to wrap up. Somebody's asking, could you just put the cut up plants in the crock pot, cover with the oil, and have your crock pot on warm, let it warm up for 24 hours, and then add the beeswax and put in jars?
I would not recommend that. And here's why. Crock pots are not as dependable or reliable as you might think when it comes to their temperature. Newer crock pots, their warm setting is actually too warm for an oil, and it will actually turn it into where it's frying your herbs. And you don't want that. Older crock pots, their warm setting are generally a lesser temperature. Another reason why you might not want to do that is having the oil and the herbs touch directly on that heated section is going to damage it more. So that's why I would recommend putting it into something like this. You could use a quart-sized jar. You could use, if you have something that is more of a wider surface, so you can get, I guess, make a bigger batch, you could do that. Another reason why you might not want to do that is beeswax is a pain to get out and off of a lot of things. So if you're going to do that, make sure that that crock pot becomes your herb beeswax appointed crock pot, because it's going to be hard to get all of that out and then use it for other things.
Okay, and next to last question, where do you source your beeswax?
Well, because I'm a beekeeper, I thankfully am able to use our own beeswax. I haven't had to buy beeswax in a very long time, but you can go on Amazon or some of these other places and just look up natural beeswax pellets, and you can find the pellets there. Or if you want to support your local beekeepers, lots of beekeepers don't ever use their wax. I'll be honest with you. It amazes me that they don't, because bees, it takes so much effort for them to make that little block square of beeswax. So if you contact them, especially now early in the season before they get to harvest time, you can ask them for their cappings and you can render your own beeswax. Or if they are into rendering their beeswax, they will sometimes sell you the beeswax. So that's a good way to get get in contact with your local beekeepers.
And that's actually how I found mine. I found for the city that I live in, I looked for the Beekeepers Association and just went on their Facebook page and asked, would anybody sell beeswax? And I found somebody that did. All right, and last question, do you have any book recommendations for beneficials of essential oils and plants?
Usually those you're gonna have separate books. Let me see. I'm looking for my essential oils book and I can't find it right now, but there are so many, there's this herb book. That's great. I do have the book Cindy mentioned earlier. That one is good. This one is good.
That's The Way of Herbs. And who is that by? Can you tell us?
This one is by Michael Tierra.
Okay.
This one is definitely a more advanced book, I would say. I would definitely start with some of the other ones because to understand the ratios and the how-tos, those other books I think are a bit better to start out with.
Okay. And I'll try, and I will get a list of those from Esther and put those with the link on the webpage for the VIP members. Esther, thank you so very much. I know I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm sure everybody else did from all the questions. And Esther said that she would be happy to answer questions and Jessie left, but I'm going to grab her email address. And she said to please send her an email if you have a question. So
yes, and Ginger, just to let the ladies know, I am on Facebook, but I'm not on there much. So you can totally message me there, but I might not reply as quickly. But you can email me or you can find me on MeWe.
okay, so I just put her email address in the chat. It's stillwood.info@gmail.com. And her home is Stillwood Homestead. And she does have a website, stillwoodnaturals.com. But I think from talking to her, it's not super up to date, but she is working on it. So check that. Let me grab that. I'll drop it in the chat, and then you can check on that from time to time, because I know she does sell tinctures and salves and that kind of thing on there when she has them ready. So the email and her website are there. Esther, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you 100 times. Thank you. It was awesome. So now, real quick, we have the lovely and vivacious Miranda Johnson going to come on with us. Miranda, welcome. Oh, look at us with matching hairstyles. I'm so glad you got the message. Miranda is going to talk with us about the business spotlight. And Miranda, if you just want to go take it away.
All right, ladies, my name is Miranda Johnson, and I am the Community Director for National Ladies Homestead Gathering. I just wanted to take a moment of your time tonight to talk to you a little bit about a new feature that we're going to be rolling out on these national virtual gatherings. We are going to start featuring a VIP member and their business in our VIP member spotlight on the gatherings. This is a fantastic way for you to share your products, your goods, and your services with ladies nationwide. If you're interested in taking advantage of this opportunity, please email media@nlhg.org with your contact information, and they'll get back to you. If you have any questions about your VIP member status, or you'd like to become a member, simply visit our website at nlhg.org, and you can find information there to get set up with us, or you can talk to your local chapter leadership. The last thing is that while you're on the website, you should probably stop and check out our business directory. A lot of our VIP members actually have their businesses listed in that directory, and some of them even offer discounts. So thank you, ladies. I appreciate your time tonight.
So that is one of the benefits of being a VIP member, is that you get connected with all these ladies. And one thing that I think that we as homesteaders, I know that I personally as a commercial farm struggle with, is marketing. And so this is something that as a VIP member, you can totally take advantage of. If you've got a product or service that you think the ladies in our group would like to take advantage of, this is a great way to do it. We are going to be spotlighting members, VIP members' businesses here on the National Virtual Gathering, going out to all these ladies. And so it's a great way to get out there about your business. So please let us know if you would like to be featured. We would love to feature your business. You know, whether it's, you know, a homestead sitting service, or if you ship salves or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm floundering for things, but whatever it is, if you think that our ladies would benefit from it, then please let us know. media@nlhg.org. All right. So last order of business, and we are just a few minutes over, but I know you guys want to get to the giveaways, because who doesn't love a giveaway? I love the giveaways because they're just so much fun, even though I don't ever get anything, but I just like to give stuff away. All right. So let's see. First of all, let's do, let's do, which one is this? This one is all members. So, okay. So actually we'll do all attendees first. We're going to do all attendees, everybody that was on the here tonight. Okay, so let me share the screen and we're going to do this and we're going to share. Okay, here we go. Everybody that's on the video tonight, good luck, everybody. Oh, I forgot to tell you. All right, so we'll see who wins and then we'll tell you what they win. Jerry Ford. Jerry, congratulations. All right, so Jerry is going to win a hummingbird feeder and some hummingbird food. I always get confused on which way to go on this because I think it's backwards. I know it's only March, but where I live, March is actually when we put out our hummingbird feeders. So I'm going to send this to Jerry. Jerry, make sure I will email you and get your information. And just writing it down so I don't forget. All right, so now this is all members. All members, if you are a VIP, all VIP members, if you are a VIP member, your name is on this list. So let's see here. We'll get some screen sharing going on. So look at all the, so many names you really can't even tell. All right, for all VIP members, you are also going to get the hummingbird feeder and the food. Lee Ann Markham. Lee Ann from Madison, Georgia. All right, all members. So Lee Ann, what you are getting is you're going to get the hummingbird food and feeder as well. You're also going to get this super cute welcome little windmill. It does actually turn. You will get a pair of gardening gloves because it's that time of the year, and a reusable bag that says grow where you are planted. So all that's going to be coming to you. I will email you for your shipping address. So that's awesome. Yay, everybody. All right, so now it's time. I'm letting you know, breakout rooms. Breakout rooms. Let me get the link for you. All right, breakout rooms. I'm putting the link in the chat. Click on this link. Where did you go? There you are. Sorry, I lost it, like minimized and it went way over here and I couldn't find the Zoom. Okay, so breakout rooms, breakout room Zoom link is in the chat. Now, if you're not going to a breakout room, hang out for a minute. I'm gonna let everybody kind of go over there and then I'll put the registration link for next month here. If you're going to a breakout room, go ahead and go over there and your moderators in your breakout rooms will have that link for you so that you can register after the breakout room. Guys, thank you so very much. I am so excited about this every month and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Go to the breakout rooms, have a great time, and we'll see you next month. Thanks so much.